Der Rickett says, hello there, what's your opinion on Oshur so far? I was quite disappointed last night as most bases are quite easy to spawn lock. I don't know, dude. I mean, I've had a pretty shit playtime, but that's because I've been concentrating on... I was platoon leading before and I was running the stream before, so I was talking to a lot of people. But I found that it's not concentric to my normal playstyle, which is I do have a reliance, and that's just from my what's the word I'm looking for? I have a reliance on the spawn rooms from complacency from the current spawn system in the current in the other maps of planetside that have been designed around a redeploy spawn system. That doesn't mean I have had a bad time. It just means that I've had a shit fucking session for kills because I'm having to think outside the box again. I'm having to logistically overcome problems and form solutions for my guys.
Oh, that's a good omen.
Reading a whole new map, not knowing the bases. So it's too early for me to tell. I've only been playing on here for like a couple of hours. 3 hours. And my playtime, you know, on the playtest server was all solo. I wasn't able to play on the playtest, the scheduled playtests, just for work purposes and stuff like that. So what I'm seeing so far is a very interesting set of logistical problems, such as bases that don't have hard spawns at all, so you have to build bases. The crossing of land bridges where you get bottleneck traffic, and the oceans and the traversing of different terrain mechanics as well has definitely brought lots of challenges. So Shuffling says, is it true that the router got a change? Also, how are you? I believe so. I believe that the router and I think spawn beacons at some bases don't deploy in the no deploy circle. So the router has actually lost most of its effectiveness in the game. So people are using lodestars now as a method of putting down a quote-unquote router spawn. But the issue obviously is that the lodestars and the ant variants as well, when you deploy for spawn options, they're being utilized more, but they're obviously much easier to spot and kill because they have a different thing come up on the map. So, like I said, it's bringing forward a lot of logistical challenges. It's making me think outside the box again. So I don't think it's inherently bad, any of those things. But it remains to be seen how well this plays when the population diminishes, when certain meta become more concentric, like you know, routers, aircraft, Sunday balling and stuff like that. You know, base building. We're going to see a lot more vehicles on the map than we do currently on other continents, which means that, you know, we could see the return of a lot of veteran tankers, which could also mean then that there's a return of a lot of veteran aircraft. So it's an interesting turn of events, that's for sure, for planetside. And it's definitely a challenge of some kind. Ah, an alert! Finally, it's taken this long. So it's a good question. How do I feel about it? At the moment, I'm undecided of my overall overreaching opinion. It's only been an hour and a half, 3 hours. So what am I going to really give you an opinion on? It's just one session playtime. So I think it's a bit too soon, but there's definitely interesting challenges. The water and the spawn warp gating is definitely what I'm seeing as an early issue. Having to get vehicles from the flotilla to the beachheads whilst you're being farmed by a huge line of enemy vehicles and stuff is a huge problem at the moment that I'm seeing as an early issue. Retro CA, hey Squiz, how you been, mate? I've been good, man. Good to see you, Retro. Thank you for joining today, man. Where are you from? How you going? Der Racket says out shuffling. What's that say? Router has only range of 500 meters and will be destroyed if it runs out of Cortium or the Spyos destroyed. Interesting. Oh, there you go. So the router has effectively been reduced to fucking shit all. So that's really interesting. Again, depends on how that plays out on live and you know how that plays out with a new spawning meta, because the meta of just grabbing as many MBTs as possible and keeping them going is a huge issue right now. Zerging is a huge issue right now. There's just nothing but Zergs on the map. So it's interesting. Retro C says, I'm an old PS2 vet, just having a look at the new stuff. Yeah, cool, man. Welcome. Have a look. Have a listen. There's lots of new bases, base designs. Like I said, new logistical challenges. So, you know, it's a bit of a thinker again, as opposed to just redeploy defense. If it's been a while, you might not be familiar with the armory. So there's all new things you can do and build with the armory, including these giant Colossus floating bastions and giant Colossus tanks. Sorry. So it's good. Retro C says, good to see the Ravens are still running. Hell yeah, dude. This has just been an ordinary night. And we still have had a lot of guys come online, in and out. We run ops Wednesdays and Sundays at 7:30 p.m. AEST. Wednesdays and Sundays, wherever you are, that would be 3 hours ago. So if you're around, if you're online, if you're interested, you know, let me know, follow me. But there's also other guys in the outfit that stream too. Orange Pearl is currently live, I believe, as well. So yeah, check it out. It's really, really good. It's a good time to be involved. If you speak English and you want to just chill out with us, you can hit us up on our Discord. I'll get that information now for you. My Discord information's down there, but I'll get the Ravens details for you, because you're more than welcome to just come and say good day, hang out and ask your questions, and we'll give you proper permissions so that you can get involved in all the chat there too. So it's been good. What else was I going to say? Retro C, that's cool. I ran with Dyer back in the day. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, Dyer. Fuck yeah, man. I wish they were still around. We need guys like that on NC especially, because we've got TCFB running VS stuff, but we've got no real English-speaking active outfits on NC. So we lack English representation on all factions at the moment. However, we also... oh, B. Carter! No shit, dude! Carter! How are you, man? Is it you? What? Ah, shit, dude! Oh, man. B. Carter, you were in my fucking platoons and shit when I was doing Service Smash, bro. Oh, how can I forget, man? What's going on, dude? Holy shit, that's taking me... So I gotcha. That's taking me so far back, dude. Oh man, I have to fucking whoa. All right, everybody, if you're watching wherever you are, I gotta fucking break this down for you. So, back in the day, when PlanetSide still had an Australian server and the game itself had still had a massive population, like active player base of a rotation of 10 to 15,000 active players rotating. We actually had a community server smash competition. So the community banded together, a bunch of people joined up to form an administrative team, and with help and with encouragement from the development team and the producers at SOE, who originally built and bankrolled the game and everything. We had Server Smash. So we get servers together to build full platoons of 244 people, like full armies, right? So we had like 7 to 9 platoons, and then a force commander had to then manage the platoons and manage the logistics for the entire force, so that you had multiple platoons with their squads, and you weren't just focusing on the micro, which is what we're doing here, which is capturing one base and then another base and managing our guys. We had another person overseeing all the platoons, so we were, you know, cohesively capturing bases. Carter was there, dude. Carter's the fucking OG, man. So Australia, Briggs, the Australian server, we did a full lap of the globe. We versed all the other servers and we fucking kicked their asses, man. And Carter's one of the OGs from fucking NC, dude. The Dire Boys like represented huge. Fuck, man, that's so cool, Carter. I'm so glad you're here, dude. Oh man, if I could remember the mad chats we had, I'd fucking talk about them. But I honestly just remember that we did have chats, man, like all the time, dude. So good to see you. So good to see you, man. Man, swing past. Come and say good day to the Ravens, dude. We'd fucking love to have you around, man. Retro says, yeah, same. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Dirt Wreckett says, and I dislike the current iteration of the water system. Like that's almost a death zone if you aren't on VS and can build a mag rider, repair Sunday Ball. It is. It is. I can't argue with that either. There's a lot of early issues, early problems that require, you know, a bit of tweaking. But I'm not going to turn around and formulate an entire opinion based on one or 2 points of constructive criticism or feedback that I can offer. I think formulating an actual opinion on whether or not you like something, you need to spend more time on it. You need to obviously... Retro says, I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn these days. Oh, dude, that's alright. Do you think I could do anything? Look at me, I'm hopping around just grabbing fucking cheeky cap XP now. So, look, mate, I couldn't even hit it if I could quit it. Do you know what I mean? I'm fucked. Sorry, dear Record, I don't mean to break off from this topic because it's a very good discussion that we're having here. The opinion that I could form on Oshur right now would be based on a very limited exposure, a very limited experience, very few engagements, like actual fights that I've been involved in.
No beacon for you.
I could only tell you how my night was played tonight. I couldn't tell you any opinion about Oshur. If you want an opinion,
I've here, bro, because we're trying to attack this platoon.
Got good opinions about Ezimir because I've played a lot on Ezimir and I can tell you how broken these lattice lanes are, how indefensible a lot of this Emir lattice lane is, how bad it is to try to go from southern warp gate to eastern warp gate, and how that the fights on Ezimir realistically rotate around Isotech plant and almost nowhere else. These bases are really the only bases you see any action on, and that's because it's pure landlock. Everywhere you go, you just get totally landlocked by these containment sites where fights just dissolve. You just get no fights in containment sites, just ongoing back and forth tug of war. It's not interesting, it's not engaging. So I've got opinions on Ezimir, but I don't have much on Oshur at the moment. Tridents are interesting. When you see larger fights in Tridents and you get there, you'll realise too that there's a logistical challenge there for platoons to actually get through and assault other territories. So Tridents are interesting. The lack of spawns, lack of hard spawns, is also a challenge, which I'm actually liking. I'm liking having to think outside the box. I'm liking the game being more than just hit, you redeploy and fucking go to the next fight. It's been far more interesting than the other iterations of Planetside. Shuffling says, I know you don't have much construction buildings, but have you tried a bit of it on this map? I haven't tried it on this map. I have a lot of construction. I've spent a lot of time and effort doing construction. I consider myself a builder. I'm not a full-timer, but I'm definitely a well-versed and well-seasoned builder. So I can tell you now that there's a lot of good places to build, and I'd like to see more of it. But for tonight, I'm just having a bit of a run. Oh, Yoshino, you fuck! Reload habit. Gone from the NS15 to the fucking TMG, so I've gone from having like 35 or 40 whatever bullets in the clip to now it's fucking like hundreds, and I keep fucking up. Retro says, what a shame, Ezimir was my fave. Yeah, mine too, dude. They've had a bunch of tries at it. Whoa! They've had a bunch of goes at it, and they've just fucked it, dude. Like, the first time they did Shattered Warp Gate, they took off like a whole fucking chunk. Like that. That whole corner of the map. The whole corner of the map got fucking taken out with like Shattered Warp Gate, right? So now what they've done is they've tried to put some of it back, but they've redone the lattice lanes and the lattice
Bravo
connections.
waypoints are the entrances to the underground facility.
And they've shifted this warp gate over here, and then they added containment sites instead of biolabs, which are worse. They're just worse biolabs. So, and then they've obviously taken out all the alert types and stuff. So your alert types of like going for amp stations and going for biolabs and going for tech plants have all been removed as well. Albeit there's only one tech plant still on Ezimir. Having removed them is probably one of the biggest issues I've seen, the biolabs, because and those alerts, because the territory meta is just now totally ingrained and marinated in everybody's playtime. So like I was saying, Oshur's different. It will play different. The territory meta applies differently because of these tridents here. They're constantly in contention unless you have them surrounded. So unless you encapsulate the whole territory around the trident, you don't own it. It doesn't contribute to your territory control. And the same as these sea posts here. So there's only 2 sea posts, I think, though. There's a trident here. There's a sea post here. And there's another one, but it's up here somewhere, I think. There's another sea post. Oh, J5 up here. So for some reason, there's only 2 sea posts. There's not one over here. I don't know why. But yeah, it's a new challenging map, especially for the territory meta. Shuffling says the top right of the map got nuked. Yeah, it did. And then they fucked it, and then they put in these things, and they don't have like 3 bases in a row without spawns, which was interesting, but it doesn't create fights at the moment. But now that Oshur's here, people might get used to doing it again, so we could possibly see better fights in time. It remains to be seen. What is this song? Sounds like fucking bubbles. This is really good conversations. I'm loving this. Shuffling, have you attacked one of those tridents yet? Yes, we have. They're really difficult. We've been warp gated now for almost an hour, so this has been a very long fought process of actually getting any territory back. Because of how these flotillas are designed, and because of the water gap that needs to be breached to actually get to the beachhead, let alone actually deploy anything out there, and having both NC and VS totally warp gating us and totally fucking us in with all their MBTs and vehicles and shit. Nightmare scenario. You don't want to do it, you don't want to be there, but it's obviously how Planetside's played. So I'd like to see them fix that issue some way. But yeah, we were fighting at a trident before, so now hopefully we'll get a chance to do so again at some point. But the tridents, again, you need to bring spawns, so people are anviling in stuff onto these air pads, people are pulling in routers and stuff like that. But with the change in routers too, I don't know how that's going to pan out. And so people are getting into these tridents and then finding that the 3-point caps are hard to get to, because it's not like a biolab where you can easily run around the outside. It's pretty difficult, and you have to sort of just barrage your way through. Derrickett says, currently I kind of like the containment sites. My first runs were confusing as hell, but right now I start to understand the layout. I love the options to flank, but yeah, when running with an organised platoon, it's hard, as most will have difficulties to catch up to the Zerg again. Yeah, all valid points. I think because they're not intuitive, that's the biggest issue, and they didn't put in enough signage, enough of those light paths to follow, and the map itself, the mini map, doesn't structure properly. Like, doesn't tell you what layer you're on and stuff. Like, there's some things that they could do or tweak to make it whole again, to make it more viable and more intuitive, especially to new players. But you're right, the challenge is, you can go there on your own and have a good time, but you can't really do much coordinated work there unless you're micromanaging and you're balling up as one group and moving around. Reckitt says the problem with tridents is that once the attacks have a decent force inside you basically can't leave the spawn as you will run into crossfire. Yeah, because the spawn's right in the middle. So arguably by the theory would be that you can't pincer a round object. You could always break out on one side. That's the theory. But then the problem is that it's not. It's a conic. It's conical. So like you've got three main points of contention for anything circular. So if you've got something round, you would think that arguably it works like one side and the other side, and you can still make. It doesn't work like that, especially when your base layout is concentric to the conics of like a triangle. It's geometry, right? It's stuff I don't really know a lot about, but bear with me. You got points A, B, and C in that conic, so it is actually quite simple and intuitive for an assaulting faction to just keep up those three flanks. And of course, they know what your objective is. That's the true challenge to planetside is your opponent knows what your objective is. You're going to go to points A or B or C or D or the generator or whatever, and you're going to do it in a logical order. You're going to follow a pattern because it's predictable, it's intuitive, and you can direct troops there without much, having to break down those orders. So the tridents just don't help with any of that at all. The tridents are having a central spawn base means that you can just get fucked on, and it's sort of natural. It's a natural progression of what the humans will do, and we're going to see it now. So it's an interesting base to say the least. And you're right, when you're the attacking faction, once you've got a good populace in there, it's hard to sort of break that. OG Link 3, welcome to the chat, dude. Good to see you, man. OG Link says, my one issue with tridents is that most of the time either a spawn camp of attackers or the defenders. There's not really much in between where you have those tug of wars. Well, my issue is this. Without good spawns, you just get farmed by the ESFs. And aircraft are having a whale of a time, I can tell you right now. I was in an aircraft, and I'm not much of a pilot, but aircraft pilots are having a whale of a time right now, really enjoying themselves, fucking on all the exposed tanks and all the exposed infantry. There's not much cover at all for infantry and tanks against aircraft. Not a lot of trees, not a lot of rock formations, not a lot of valleys to actually lose line of sight in. It's a hell of a fucking map they've made. It's challenging, but it's also inviting for old players who used to do aircraft and tanking and stuff like that. Oh, what was that? Oof. Also, hello. No, hello to you too, Link. Farm time for the old airboys, says Retro, aka B Carter. Yeah, dude. Oh, Jesus. And the nade spam's real too in these tridents. Yeah, it's actually good. Like, I want to see the air guys get something back, man. Like, they got fucked on in just about every release.
Double kill.
So it's good to see them actually getting something. Give them a fucking buck or two, you know. It's what they need. And arguably, it's pilots that make or break this game, especially for faction strength, and especially for, like I said, the logistical challenges that make this game so interesting. If you've got... Fucking hell, what am I doing in this room? This room's terrible. If you've got aircraft presenting themselves as a challenge to you on the ground, you're more inclined to pull a vehicle, to pull a burster max, to do something different than to just run Shift W to the fucking objective point. And you're gonna create objectives and create options for people to fucking, actually, as a developer, by doing this, you make options and more interesting things for people to do, which is more inviting and therefore better for people to to want to join the game and to engage with it more and for a longer period.
Headshot.
In the water.
I'm just speaking the truth.
Shuffling says, guess I can bring out my dual AA Sunday. Hell yeah, dude. Definitely. We need them too, because getting off these flotilla today, like, after we were warp gated, was like the biggest fuck I've ever fucking seen in ages. Reckitt says, it's even worse as defenders. You have two narrow doors in the Tridents. You have two narrow doors at a 90-degree angle, so you can't even shoot outside. Once you step outside, you have a wide V with two rooms at the end that are easy to defend, and even each other. To break out of that is quite challenging. Yeah, I was just seeing it then. Like, it seems like I was getting fucked on because of grenades, but you really need a conceited group push, like an old school Max Crash or something, to actually break those lines that we were pushing them on to keep them in the spawn room.
Yeah, I'm done too.
Retra says, yep, provides that old gameplay even as an infantry main. It does, and you need that. You need to fucking break your mold a little bit. You need to, because it's times like that, you see something different, you see something, you know, energizing, you see something questionable, you learn something new. These are all things that marketers know very well. To trick your brain, to give you dopamine and endorphin hits, to get your adrenaline glands pumping, to get your heart rate up, to get your thought process out of your standard day-to-day confines of contemptedness, and to actually get you thinking about how you can engage. And with that engagement comes, obviously, there could be some downfall, there could be some challenges, but once you overcome those challenges and you get that big hit of, fuck man, I just learned something new, or I just fucking finally got that motherfucker who's been fucking on me all day, bam, you've got return players. So keeping the guys in the air, keeping the guys, you know, in tanks, keeping the construction builders happy is all central to getting engagement and return players back to planetside. Okay, a continent with water is not so inviting, especially when they haven't brought in boats, there's no new vehicles, there's no new guns really to go with it all. But they've brought in a whole different spawning system and new challenges to logistics. The water mechanics themselves, again, provide a challenge for people that need to overcome, whether they become Gel pilots again or whatever, what have you. They've reconfigured some of the construction systems so it's more intuitive for people to understand what they're doing in the construction, which if I bring it up here, because it's in a stupid spot, you can actually, you actually need to be at a silo to even see it, but they've reconfigured it a bit so it's more inviting and more open to being understood. For new players, so they can understand what they're building and what they want to do. All of these things combined is what's going to make a more engaging, more beneficial game time for people, and those dopamine hits come faster and better and quicker and more frequently. So you've got a greater net being cast on people who are getting engaged and returning to planetside, even if it is a slightly longer, you know, point of faction boost until people start to drop off again. You just have to keep it going long enough till you get your next release, which, as I said, the next release could have boats, could have submarines, could have underwater weapons, could have fucking, you know, new alert types, could have a new iteration, a new round of Outfit Wars, which people may or may not know what that was, but Outfit Wars could come back. So getting people into the game, engaging with the game, clicking on all these different things, the more population you have coming back, the better. So a content update like this, although it seems lackluster because it's just a new continent and it's just water, when you unpack it and you look at it differently and you actually start to, you know, revise the things that you've been working with and you've been playing with and you've been experiencing, you'll actually be able to form a better opinion, and you will actually see more people jumping in and actually enjoying themselves, and hopefully a little bit of an uptick in the population, the net increase of population for planetside. I wasn't going to do a review on this fucking continent, by the way. I said that. I wasn't going to do a goddamn review. I said, fuck it. Oh, why not? And here I am. Only tracked vehicles go underwater, says OG. Everything else floats. Correct. Yep, correct. And you can't get out and repair too. You can't deploy in the water. Because your ant floats, if there's any cordium that you're seeing on your minimap that's in the water, you can't get it. And if you get out of your vehicle when you're in the water, the infantry just sink to the floor. So if you accidentally press E, you're gone. You lose your vehicle. Shuffling says, Squiizzy, make a YouTube review on this. Fuck that, dude. No way. I don't have the time or energy or money. Not money. Guess you don't really need money, but I don't have the time or energy or the knowledge, the skills to actually make a YouTube video. I'd have to invest a lot of time and energy to just making or editing a video, let alone the content I need to put in it, the research and the dot points being clear and concise and the message coming across in a digestible format. Whereas I'd rather just sit here and talk shit and answer questions. I'm better like that. I'm more impromptu. I'm more I don't know, whatever. Fuck it. Legum, howdy Squiz. Hey Legum, good to see you, man. Another Raven joins us. Shuffling's a Raven, Legum's a Raven. Good to see you, boys. Shuffling says, yeah, I can't. Some gunboats on this. Maybe even a D-Day landing craft. Well, that's what I think is going to happen. Your flotilla, you're going to get landing craft. Defensible, when you deploy them, creates a shield. Can make a ramp for vehicles to get onto so they can actually traverse from the water to the land just that little bit quicker. With your base construction, I think we'll be able to unpack some more of that, and we might actually get floating bases to be built, because I can see a huge benefit, boon, to putting player bases in the water so that you can control beachheads from a distance with the AI turrets and stuff like that. So again, think outside the box, unpack it a little bit, give it more than a fucking second, and if you don't look at just objectively and say, this is what they gave us, but if you look at it and say, there's potential here, we can give them feedback, we can engage with this on a level until we understand some of it, and we can put some of our ideas forward, and we can fucking get involved with the whole process. You can see it's actually fucking viable what they've done here. And again, I'll touch on this because I touched on this earlier. Maybe not everyone here heard me say this, but the map in its conic shape, like, because it's a triangle but it's circular, so conics are like A to B to C, whatever. I don't know geometry as well as I think I do geography or whatever, but it's asymmetrical for three-way, right? So you can get a much more even fights. It's circular.
Good try, Storm.
So, there's like rings, concentric rings to actually assault, and the challenges, are not just what we face, but everyone faces these challenges of building bases and stuff like that. So it's a very good map for engaging fights. But what we're seeing now is not entirely what a good display of what live will look like in a few weeks. This is all just new honeymoon period. Lots of people getting on. The scale's been increased because of new players, new engagement. Lots of people pulling vehicles with spare resources and stuff that they have, and once we see more of this come to its full fruition and the population starts to plateau a bit and all of that jazz, we'll actually fucking, I think, have a better time. Wreckit says, that shuffling, yeah, but I only like the Wish version of it. As Magrite is the only floating tank, the water kind of belongs to Vanu, and Vanu only underwater, you're slow as hell and most guns won't fire. Yeah, correct. I don't like that. I think it's shit. Legum says, cool. Retro says, can't really review it anyway. Meta will take a while to develop. This is another interesting thing. If you're talking about the metaverse, The metaverse exists in a whole range of different things. As long as there's only a smaller community or a subculture of people on the metaverse, when you're talking about metaverse and you're buying and selling property and trading, you're actually reaching a small market. You still need to engage with other markets. It's just like streaming services. Okay, Netflix has a commanding market share, but there's things that Netflix don't do or won't show or can't engage with because contracts and other things are, litigated and tied up in tenure with other streaming companies, albeit other metaverses. So VR chat has already got a metaverse. Your Facebook everyday mum and dads are not going to go out and buy headsets and stuff to get full immersion in a metaverse. So when they log on and they see it on their screen, they're going to say, all these log-on details, all these extra steps, all these captures and all these other things that I need to do and all the time I need to invest in to get up a metaverse shop or whatever, they're not going to bother with it. It's really not, it's not accessible to people. So the metaverse is, it's a buzzword, man, metaverse. Like, oh, it sounds so cool. It's the new... Everyone's looking for the next evolutionary jump. And I get it, like VR's here and we're beginning to understand it. But the evolutionary jump is going to be on a global, albeit universal scale where we actually have political, religious, sexual and trading rights become universal, which would mean a new world order, which, albeit the coronavirus is probably what's going to fucking slingshot us into the next stage of human evolution or civilizational evolution. Yeah, come at me with your fucking comments on that. Might feel bad until someone figures out how to play around it. By the way, if you ever spot a vehicle underwater, water has no effect on lock-on missiles, so basically free sets. Yeah, the water itself, there's still a lot of things to unpack and to fix up with it too. Jesus, chat's going off. Shuffling says, floating bases, that would make Trident assaults unique if the devs give us the floating and descending pads. Yeah, exactly. It's just, the thing is too, what translates to continents like Indar as well? Because if they can build something for Oshur, it needs to be...
Go, keep going, you got it.
It needs to translate, it needs to be feasible for live on continents like Indar and stuff too. Also, big change. Aircraft have a kind of autopilot now, and thrust will decay very slowly. A solo lib can fly for a whole minute while the pilot mans the belly gun. Yeah, I saw that too. I noticed that when I was flying my Mozzie before. Entering and exiting hover too is very fucked at the moment, which is kind of good. It means it's not just fucking like, get in, get out type scenarios that the aircraft were able to embellish. We actually, or aircraft pilots, not we, I'm not really a pilot, but aircraft pilots now have unique challenges too. Shuffling says, Vanu have an edge on this continent. Yes, they do. It's pretty fucked. Dare record, yes, absolutely. Everyone is forced on narrow bridges. Yeah, the bottlenecking of fights is what's actually causing things to actually break up a little bit. And so the Zergs are struggling to get through these bottlenecks and choosing not to go into the ocean and try new and riskier, lanes or methods of assault. What's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? Assault. When you're on you're in an attack line, attack front, assault line. I can't remember. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, interesting. Legum, the meta and pro strats for winning Oshur will take a while to come about as people try new things. Oh, that's what you were talking about with meta, not meta. I don't know why I immediately jumped to metaverse, dude. I think it's just because I have a bit of opinion of it, because I've done a bit of research and it just seems to be, I don't know, more than speculative. yeah, I don't know. I was like, oh, meta. I could talk about the metaverse. Like, nah, my bad. My bad. Legum says it spiraled into a pretty interesting convo, but pretty sure Retro C was talking about the gameplay in PS2. The meta and pro strats for winning Oshur will take a while to come about as people try new things. I don't think it'll take that long, dude. Desolation, the meta for Desolation came in the first ops. So as people share and refine ideas through the subreddits and stuff, and through their discords, we'll see a pretty quick translation and a pretty quick education of that information, and we'll have all the meta inside of a week, dude. Rep gal balls, rep Sunday balls, and base building strats will be fucking hot trot info very soon. Retro C says, well, I should say, it's fucking B Carter, alright? It's B Carter, everybody. I'm so happy that B Carter's here, dude. Retro says, maybe PS2 doesn't use the word meta, I meant the meta game. Yeah, my bad. I fucked that up. Legum, props because every man and his dog is talking about the metaverse. Hype word of the month. Hell yeah. Shuffling, gotta go work tomorrow. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Good luck at work tomorrow, man. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for keeping the conversation going, too. It's been an interesting discussion. Legum says, took a few outfit ward matches for the small Anvil Pro meta to be discovered. Yeah, it did. That's true. That's true.
You can put it pretty far away. That's pretty crazy.
Very true. Yeah, look, Anvils are going to be huge, too. And so collecting resources not on this map but on other maps is going to pay off dividends if you withhold them. So people or outfits like ours might actually leverage that and say, look, we actually need to convince guys to kind of get off, and we're going to convince guys to get off, everybody. We need to convince guys to go onto other continents and harvest some resources for the outfit so that we can invest them and pull those resources to utilize on Oshur for those key alerts like this one now. There's an alert on with enough resources and stuff we could actually leverage and fucking, you know, have a win. Have a win, boys. Retro C, I've got to go. Take care, mate. Keep up the good work. No, thanks, man. Thank you. Thanks for joining us, Carter. Come onto the Discord sometime. Just stick your head in. Just say g'day and see some old faces. It would be really good to fucking see you again, dude. Just a little bit, you know. A little cheeky, hey, you going? Let me get you a beer. See you on the next one. I'll catch you up on Facebook, whatever. It's good to see you, man. Really, really, really good. Fuck yeah, dude. Legum says, I'm convinced already. Retro C says, will do. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Fuck, man. Actually, talking about popping off, dude. This game's popping off, but I've got to go too, man. I've got work tomorrow myself. I just got to get up. I was going to turn this off at like fucking 11, but here I am, still jawing. Still having mad chats. Wonder if I can get to Viridian Genetics.
Just keep both hands on the wheel there.
Haven't really seen any fights though, have we? Sorry about that, everyone. I got caught up talking. As you might have noticed, I'm a bit of a gas bagger.
I just heard a dolphin.
Bit of a gas bagger. Derek Rickett says, also another issue with warp gating. Can't pull MBT there. You also have no warp gate bubbles. So once the enemy manages to destroy a construction base in front of your warp gate with AA and MBT in position, you have yourself a D-Day situation. Yeah, that's what we found today. So I didn't mention it, but yeah, there's no warp gate bubble either. So it is an interesting challenge. I can see them overcoming that with a number of different things, but for the moment, it actually provided a really cool fight for us. We got to see all of the Sundays slowly moving, got to see all the aircraft descending and killing mobs of vanguards that had set themselves up in positions, infantry running around headless getting farmed by those EFF too. You know, it was really interesting. I actually didn't mind it, even if it is just for now while there's still lots of pop. It's been really fun, really good. Alright, I'm going to say goodnight to the Ravens. I'm going to say goodnight to you two guys because I do need to get up for work in the morning, but thank you for joining me. Thank you for checking me out. This is Oshur. It's now released. My name is Squiizzy. And you should also check out some of my other streams. So everything's fully highlighted. You can go down, you can see everything that's fully highlighted there.
Are we in someone's range?
And they're all date stamped, right? So you can go back and you can see the start of something or the end of something where we last left off. And you can catch up on all the Star Wars stuff. SWTOR is what I've been playing recently. Legum says, "Night, Squiz. What was that?" There was a notification. Oh! Apoliton followed me. Thanks, mate. Thanks, Apolly. Appreciate it, dude. Thank you, thank you. Apoliton. That's how you pronounce that. OG Link says, "See you around, Squiz." No, thank you. See you around too, OG. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Legum, Dereket, Carter was here, Shuffling. Fuck, so many names. I'd usually go through them all, but God, there's so many people here. Who else was here? Greeno Buff jumped in. Tickles was here. Gumstitch, Play Possum, Pistol. Fuck yeah, Lanky was here. Jewel BB, and more. It just keeps going. Can't forget Nobba too. Dear Racket says, "Bye, Squiz." No worries. Bye to you too. Thank you, well met adventurers. Thanks for coming. Yeah, check out my streams. My schedule is down there as well. So Wednesday, it should transfer whatever to your local time. But wherever you are, it's 7:30 p.m. AEST, Australian Eastern Standard Time. So wherever you are, that would be about 4 hours ago, on a Wednesday and Sunday. Twice a week, Planetside 2, right here, with the Ravens and myself, and we do it twice a week. We've been doing it for ages. Go and check out all my highlights. They're all date stamped. They're all there. They've all got nice little thumbnails because, as you can see, I like doing some artwork and shit to make things interesting. So I hope to see you all again soon. My socials are down there. I don't know if I've still got it copied. Come and join the Ravens Discord, where you can catch us up and you can say good day.
Tropical paradise. Beaches, yes.
That's Times communicating with another outfit. Fuck, that's loud. Really loud. So, again, thank you all so much. Thank you for joining me tonight. I know I just talked for like the last fucking half hour, but it's been really good conversation. And as you can tell, I love it. I love engaging with you guys. I love streaming for you. Viewers at home, on the phone, and especially the VOD viewers, especially if you stuck around this long. It's been a fucking massive stream. This is a marathon for me. I don't usually go for more than 3 hours, so this is cool. Thank you. Thank you all so much. I really, really do appreciate it. I'll catch you all, viewers, home, phone, Facebook, Twitch, VOD, on the next one. Later. Catch up.